Hey, 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 happy Monday. Episode 175. Good gods. Wow. Well, let's have fun. Sit back. Cheers, everybody. Party on. Come on in. Let's have a nice evening on a Monday. Wow. Go. Party on Monday. What's up, everybody? Hi. Let me know if you can hear me and see me clearly. We got a great group in here right away. Ashworth, Melissa, Michael, Charlemagne, Fallon. Who else is in here? Oh, we got a good one. This is a live show, by the way. This is not a canned episode. Michael, Ashworth. Yeah, come on in. If you're new, say hi. If you're new, hit that damn subscribe button. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense. I'm sick of saying it. Thank you very much, Ryan. Party on, peeps. Yes. It's been a few weeks, so I thought it was good to come in here. It's weird. When I'm busy, I end up doing more of these shows. When I'm slow, I end up filling up my free time with other projects. But when I'm busy, I jam these in. It's weird. I'm actually in slightly a slow downswing, but very soon it starts to go back up. What's up, Eric? Yeah. Yeah, it is not a Cheetos sponsored officially. I keep forgetting I'm wearing this outfit. I'll tell you a story about it in a second. Yeah, come on in. We're just getting cozy here. I am tonight drinking Turkey Hill iced tea. I don't drink iced tea all the time, but occasionally I get a hankering for it. Do people still say that? Is that a real word in the dictionary? A hankering? It's very South. But I do it with ice. If you don't put ice, it's too damn sweet. Lots to chat about. Lots of fun things in the works. So, this is evening hour. It is live. I don't have interns to do edit downs. I wish I did one. One day I will have that. I will have someone doing an edit down of each episode. You've never heard that word, a hankering. I mean, Snapple's good too. Turner's I don't have. I don't know what that is. I haven't had that. Hankering. It's definitely slang from the South. I'm from Altoona, Pennsylvania, proudly, and I will eventually do... this is Queens, New York City, but I'm born and raised in Altoona. I will eventually do an episode on it. I decided yesterday. I'm going to do a whole episode on Altoona, Pennsylvania, and how important that little town was during World War II. Yeah, and why did they send all those Italian guys to work there? There's a reason. We have good news for Terrifier 3 fans. Are you ready for this? Terrifier 3 made $84 million. $84 million. It's also a world record highest grossing unrated film of all time. So if anybody's wondering if Art the Clown is now an icon of horror, he's the king. There it is. He just overtook them all. Out of all the modern ones, that is. If we're going to go classic, that's a different story. Council Bluffs, raised in New Mexico. Hey, hey, party. Dan P! What up, Dan P? It's Monday. Yeah, so Terrifier 3 made 84 mil. Congrats to Damien Leone and his cast. They deserve it. Indie films rule, and the freedom of an unrated movie. Tony D, what up? Yeah, like, that's what I'm into. I like this Goblinko patch. Speaking of patches, so for the last... Has it been 2 weeks already? Good God. For the last few weeks, I have been wearing this Cheetos onesie. And I've decided I really like wearing onesies. I'm going to take these off. Oh, it's so bright in here right now. These are also new migraine glasses. They're to prevent migraines, and occasionally I feel a little migraine-y. And they help. They really do. So... this Cheetos outfit, which you can get for like 25 bucks online, I bought it. I fell in love with it. I've been wearing it for almost 2 weeks. I clean it every other day, and it's going to get ratty. I know it's going to look ratty eventually. But I've decided I don't care. I like it. I feel comfy. I get why people wear pajamas in public. I understand. And it just changes the vibe of everything. Now, I will say the problem is... it does make everything look green, but then you get used to it. So, hey, what's up, Jason? So, yes, this is going to get ratty. I started decorating it already with some patches. I immediately bought another one. So I have 2 of these. I have yet to wear the other one. Soon I'm going to patch it up. And I was thinking, there's no real... So here's the thing about wearing this. I wear it so often, I forget that I'm wearing it. So I'll be in public and I'll realize everybody's staring at me, and oh, I'm wearing the suit. So people really react to this kind of out of control. Like, so much that I'm like, really? Who cares? I'm like, clearly it's a funsie. It's a onesie for fun. I mean, it's just, I'm wearing it because I'm having fun. It's comfortable. I like the way it looks. I like Cheetos and junk food. It's fun. And the other day I had it in the grocery store, and again, I forgot, and I saw a little girl point and say, "Mom, it's not Halloween anymore." So, you'd think by this day and age, kids wouldn't notice. Is in New York City, they wouldn't notice me in a costume. But to me, it's not a costume. It's just, it's a way of life. Anybody know the movie? Where that line's from? This isn't a costume, it's a way of life. Were you able to put my supervisor's name in a flame? I don't curse people for other people. Why would I do that? Pay me, bitch. Seriously. People ask me to put curses on people all the time. You're gonna have to wait for my book. What's a suitsy? Ah! I like it, Fal, and you get it. The onesie's better than the suitsy. At least it's direct. Yeah, well, okay, so my problem with the onesie is I want more, and I want a Ronald onesie, but it's got to be fuzzy. It can't be that not cozy polyester. I want a Ronald. Pink Panther would be cool. Come on, hold on. What was the other one? I mean, Grimace? Where is he? There he is. Grimace? Do a Grimace onesie with the eyes and I mean, come on. I wear occult-styled robes as PJs. I ordered food from McDonald's. Yeah, sure. Oh, Mom. What's up, Mama? Yeah, seriously. I like that people like wearing onesies. I just wish they made more, you know? It just seems like a thing. I mean, it's comfortable. It's like so cozy. So I've become a onesie nerd. So my other onesie outfit, I'm going to cover, I think, with Goblinko patches. And Sean from Goblinko, he jumps in these, and he might end up watching this on a rerun. And so Down With Everything's one of his patches. I love this. Here's the other one. I like this one. It's a mouse in a mouse trap. Look. Oh, I love it. How about this? This one I have on my guitar case. I bought a few of these. This is too good. The Barbarians Have More Fun patch. Gotta love that. This patch I have on my hat. I think, no, am I wearing it now? No, now I'm just wearing my, one of these. Hold on, where's my... Look. This is too good. And then this one, you gotta be a real Ramones nerd. Anybody know this? First rule is the laws of Germany. Second rule is be nice to mommy. Third rule is don't talk to commies. Fourth rule is eat kosher salami. Anybody know what that is? Does anybody... Roger Rabbit. Oh, yeah, that would be good. A Roger Rabbit one would be good. So these are the lyrics to Commando, Ramones. For the trivia weirdo. Roger Rabbit would be... I mean, there's a million of these. I can't... Of course you knew it. Sean's art is really freaking out of control. He is definitely... And it's funny, I'm a fan, and he comes in here and watches the show. His art out of the punk rock, rogue, zine style artists, he's top dog. He's got a great, unique style, and there's a certain grunge to it, but a refined grunge. It's refined. See, this is why, if you have a discerning eye for good art, the details start to pop out, right? And his stuff is, he's got a certain style. So, what else before we get into the nitty gritty? Now, today's episode has there's three things. It's actually four things. And the fourth thing is I have a lot to say about the UFO thing again. And some of you know my thoughts on the UFO phenomenon that's happening right now in the United States. And I have a few words more to add to it. And I think we're going to do that at the end. Because I've discovered some new pieces of info that I think you'll enjoy. So, let's see. What else before we get into the nitty gritty? What is it? It's a quarter after. If you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notify. Look, I don't tip hustle. I don't try to get you to buy coffee mugs yet. I might do that just to help the channel. But an evening hour coffee mug or a drink glass I think would be appropriate for this show. Or a tea, something with tea. But honestly, where is it? News Hour Pick. Here's tonight's episode, 175. Good gods. Real gladiators, fake magic, and a free speech bomb. So tonight's episode is going to be a lot of free speech stuff. And I'm going to talk a lot about UFOs. And we're going to talk about this weekend's boxing and MMA extravaganzas. And I mean extravaganzas. Like, crazy. So we'll get to those in a second. I'm just trying to see here if there's anything else. You think so, Melissa? I mean, a coffee mug. I mean, I like big coffee mugs. So if I did it, I would do an oversized mug. Or I would do a glass that you can drink in. Like a goblet with evening hour. And it ain't gonna look boring. Whatever I do, I promise you it's gonna look sick. I'm gonna put something on it that's something I would drink out of. You know, I'm picky. All right, well, thank you very much, Mike. Yes. But well, let's see what I need. I might need some help on a format, but yes. Yeah, I might do a mug. T-shirts are cool, but a mug is universal. And for people that watch podcasts like myself, I always thought it was cool to, like, you know, have a drink while you're watching your favorite podcasts. I always do it. If there's a cool show I'm excited to watch, a podcast, to listen to or watch, I make a drink and roll one of my baseball bats. So, you know, evening hour rolling papers. That is a great idea, Eric. My own rolling papers. I'm into that. I am going to do another video on how to roll the fat ones again. And I'm going to make it a regular video. I think I'm going to edit it so you can really get close-ups of each move. Because I keep refining my method. And I'm quite proud of my... I mean, these things... Come on, focus. Focus. There it is. These things are large, packed correctly. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Yeah. So let's get into the episode. I'm going to turn down the volume just a hair. Wes, do we have everything here? So, I called tonight Real Gladiators, Fake Magic, and Free Speech Bombs. And the fake magic part is referring to magic as a magician. Magician magic, meaning I bought a ticket to see a magic show magic. I'm calling it right now. Ruth, what's up, Ruth? So I'm calling that fake magic. And how people see it or refer to it. You know, people are like, well, there's real magic that's not real. Of course it's not real. And then there's fake magic, which we pretend's real, and we glorify the skill involved to make it look real. As if I almost believed in magic, right? And so I was part of a, oh, see, you know what to do. Illusionism, right? That's a funny word. You could call it that. I've never seen that word. I've been doing magic my whole life, and I have never seen the word illusionism, but I like it. Have I already discussed the outfit? I have. I have. Yeah. You'll have to go back and watch, but there's not much to explain except it's me, you know, whatever. So, I was part of a conference where I got to do a talk on a very specific thing, and that is a historical look at one of the creators of props for magicians from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and his name was U.F. Grant, and he created props for a company that made like props for working entertainers that were inexpensive. They weren't crazy priced magician props. So basically, I not only used them in my act when I was younger, there's a few I still use occasionally, and I kind of ended up collecting them and becoming as much... I never use the word expert, but I know more than most magicians do that are walking around today about this guy and his props. So I was asked to do a talk on it. And of course, I got to perform old school magic tricks that some of them I haven't done in years. Some of them I have never done live for a real audience, just for my own entertainment. And I got to explain the workings and why they're so great and why they became popular and some of the brilliance in their thought. The tricks themselves. And I think I'm going to demonstrate some of them on this show eventually. I think, yeah, I am. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do one an episode. And I may never do them again, but they need to be preserved in performance. A lot of people have the catalogs and they know it and they collect them, but a performance. And when I mean performance, I mean I'm rehearsing them. Ooh, someone just did a bold move. Boom. So, yeah. And during the conference, there was other people speaking on lots of different historical subjects. It's not a big convention. It's tiny. And there's only a few people that like this kind of stuff. There's not hardly any young, like the 20-year-old magicians, there was only one. Okay? They should all be there because it's valuable information. But, and as for kid magicians, like, you know, kids in their teens, there's none there. None. Which is sad. So we need to get more of those guys involved. But at any rate, I like magic history. I like studying where it came from and how people develop these ideas. I see my beef with magic. Milk can questions. We'll get to that. And if I don't answer, remind me, okay? Milk. Milk can. That's almost an episode, but I'll give you an answer in a second. So, I noticed that even in the old days, they were the magicians that didn't like most magicians. They didn't like them. And I think I'm one of those now. Like, I don't like watching magic. And I finally realized why. A lot of magic shows are more than one magician. They're like if you go see The Illusionists, it's like 5 illusionists. And I think it's because none of them are headliners. None of them are strong enough to be the one guy. So they use 5. And so there's so many of these kind of magic shows where it's 3 magicians, 4 magicians, 5 magicians. The TV specials have more than one magician, right? It's very popular. And so what I noticed, I don't like hardly any of these shows. And I couldn't figure out why. Because I like these people. Some of them are my friends. Some of them, I don't hate the trick, but I hate the tonality to it maybe or something. But I realize what it is, and I can explain it now. And it doesn't, I don't think it's mean-spirited. I think it's actually, thank you very much, Ruth. I think it's a technical thing. And here's what it is. When I walk on stage, for me to do magic, and when I mean magic, I really mean I'm going to do something that's impossible. For real. Okay? On stage. What I say I'm going to do, I end up doing it. And it is impossible, and then I do it, right? In that context, for that to work, and for them to not only buy into it, but for the buy-in part, the engagement part, for it to be effective, I have to set up a bit of what I think magic is. And instead of saying it, I show it. Okay? That's the first thing, okay? This is kind of complex, okay? I hope people can follow this. So when I'm doing a magic show, I have to set up how they're going to relate to my magic, or whatever I'm selling as magic, because every single person in there has a different idea of what it is. So this guy believes it's real. These all people think it's fake. These guys are all watching my hands. These people here think it's all in what I'm saying and how I'm throwing my words out. Okay, everybody's a different thing of what they think of magic, or magicians, or real magic. Everybody has different religious backgrounds, superstitions, right? So, I'm trying to make one page here and set it up so that I can get them behind what I'm about to do. What I've noticed, and I've had this happen to me, where I'm in a show with more than one magician. Now, the reason why those shows usually work is the way people are presenting magic. They're all doing it under the same premise of what I just said 2 seconds ago of how I'm doing it. They have their own versions, and theirs are a little similar. So every magician that gets up and does an act has to do what I said. He has to establish, A, what is magic, B, what he thinks it is, and C, what's the reality behind it, or is there any, right? And so that's, I'm adjusting everything. Everything. I'm adjusting my demeanor in accordance to the vibe of the room. I'm depending upon the vibe of the room to get them on my page. I've designed my act to kind of get them ready for what's to come later in my little act, even if it's short. Sometimes it's longer. And so usually I'm performing with non-magic. And in the shows that I do, I actually like it when they don't introduce me as a magician. I prefer not to be introduced as the magic guy. I like it when they have to figure out what I'm going to do. You know, I like it when they're like, is he a comedian? In Slipper Room, they think I'm going to strip. They do. When I walk out, they're like, oh man, this guy's going to take his clothes off. Seriously. Or they think I'm going to sing, because they look like, a lot of people think I'm some sort of Elvis impersonator, even though I don't think I ever dress like Elvis. The only thing I do is I wear big glasses sometimes. I do have an Elvis act from the old days, but... So, it's just interesting that I don't see magic as fake ever, because everything I say I'm going to do, I end up doing. And the means that I'm using, some of them are above natural. I'm doing some unnatural things, the way I'm observing the room. And so, you're there for the stripping. Right, I wear all white, but a lot of people wear all white. So I've seen many pictures of old school people wearing white. It's how I comb my hair, but even how I slick my hair back's not very Elvis. I guess it's early Elvis. I don't know. But yeah, so I like it when they don't know what the hell's coming, and then I get to unleash it bit by bit. Some of the stuff they're seeing is, they're like, wow, he understands probability. Wow, he's good at reading the audience. Wow, I have no idea how he just did that. So I really am layering it with some things to get them ready for what I'm going to pull later. And when they leave, they go, we just saw the real version. And that was what I set up. So when I'm with other magicians, let's just say the 3 guys before me or the 2 guys before me took it in a different direction. So now I got to get away from that and be like, look, that's not magic for how I see it, because mine's this. But then immediately after me, the next magician is making fun of how stupid magic is. You know, they're making dumb jokes. Like, a lot of magicians make fun of magic. Like, that's in the act. They kind of crap on it. You know, oh, the magic. Like, they make fun of it as they're doing it. And it's very common, and I don't like it. I never did. I can't believe people don't see the subtle problem with that. They do it because it works. Because everybody does think magic's stupid because of how people present it like that. They don't get it. They like it gets leaned into for some reason, and it irritates me. That's why I try to avoid it. No offense to my magic friends, but I spent a lot of time developing my vibe on how I'm selling it, and I take it very seriously to the point where I'm kind of willing to die for it. And that's why, like, when I see people when they cheapify certain things, I've heard I can't even begin. It's someday I'm going to just do an Unleash episode. Where I really... but what is this? If someone was doing that psychic surgery trick, yes, I know, very familiar. Oh. Well, the psychic surgery thing, I have friends that do that in a show. It's never done as a reality. It's done as like a special effect. There are people who do it for real. If you go to... I mean, there are cancer hospitals. All right, here's a quick story. I was teaching a magic class for adults who were cancer survivors. And somehow it came up, psychic surgery. Someone mentioned it. And I went on a little bit of a educational lesson on the history of it. And as soon as I was done, one of the persons said their cancer was cured by going to one of those guys. I didn't know what to say. I was like, I just finished the story, and in front of the group, this lady was like, actually, I went to somebody who removed my tumor with their bare hands, and I don't have cancer anymore. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I wasn't going to go and argue with the person. I was hired to teach this group. And I think I remember I was just like, wow, that's very rare. You're very lucky. And I kind of moved on. But, so it is a reality. Show and tell? No. My act is a live demonstration. I don't know. I mean, my show I'm doing a magic show of things that other magicians might do a fake version of. They're seeing my version. They're seeing the real version. That's what I sell. Yeah, I can't believe how people treat magic. And then there are the people that are mad that it's not considered an art form. That was a subject that came up in the conference. Someone was like, it's not treated like an art form. And it's like, well, I don't even see it as an art form anymore. I don't think of it that way. I mean, I guess it is, but I it's defined that way by many people, but I don't, oh, wait, what's rude to ask? What's rude to ask? Hold on, I can't see. Oh, no. Oh, I see what you're saying, Melissa. I mean, when they come and see me, let's say in a nightclub setting, I'm presenting my magic as a non-show. It's a show, but I'm not presenting it that way, and I'm not playing any characters. It's me. Hi, I just rolled out of bed. This is what I do. I know how to do a few things that people like to see because they're a little bit impossible, and I'm going to do them now for you because I know you're going to have fun, and I'm going to have fun as you're having fun. I'm going to present it because it makes wonder happen. It's going to make you have wonder. That's what I'm selling. Self-deprecating humor, it depends. I'm not a fan of it. If I'm trying to win over a crowd, I prefer showing enthusiasm of what I'm about to show them. And if I really am excited about a present that I have, if I have a present, if I bought a present, this thing here, and I don't want to show it to you, and I'm waiting to show it to you, my excitement, if it's real, is going to make you pay attention. You're going to want to know what's going on. You're like, wow, he's very excited about something. He has some secret he's going to unveil. And to me, that's the sell. Well, cinema, music, theater are all facades. They're art forms. They're art. Magic's not art. If I borrow your keys and I let you hold it and one of them bends, that's not art. Especially when you go home and go, my key's still bent. How did that happen? That's non-art. There's no art to that. If I'm able to take a playing card and have you write your name on it, and all of a sudden it's buried across the street, for real, you're the one that digs it out of the box, that is non-art. That's kind of how I've always thought of it. It's non-theater. If it was theater, you could do it and they would believe that it happened in a theatrical under theatrical pretense, which is what we do when we see music, when we listen to a story or watch a movie. But with magic, you don't need to have any, there's no suspension of disbelief. It's just happening. Wow, I could talk about magic theory like that all day. I hope you enjoy it when I go down those holes. Let's talk about Gladiators. The real ones. Has anybody been around an NFL team? Anybody ever been around one? I've only been around NFL people because... Fallon says, I like the gypsy magic where they make your cursed money disappear. Me too. Yeah, has anybody ever been around NFL football team? This is where I realized that some men are not humans. These guys are inhuman. They are, they're large. They're wide. They're heavy. When you're 7 feet tall and weigh almost 400 pounds, I'm sorry, you're a gladiator. You're a different type of a person. Imagine having that run at you. I can't even imagine. So I always wonder if we'll ever get gladiatorial combat ever again. And when I mean gladiatorial combat, I mean the real one. Like people killing each other, you know? Like, will that ever happen? Could we ever foresee that? And I would say the closest we have today is MMA. And Friday night, we were treated to the Mike Tyson, Aaron Paul fight. Hold on. Where's my notes on this? Don't tell me I lost my notes on this. Damn it. Ah. No, here's my notes. It was Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and the opening card was Katie Taylor and Ramos. It was a spectacle. There was, 6 months of hype. They canceled it because Tyson was ill. And as Jason just said, the Tyson fight was pathetic. Yes, it was. It was, and I noticed something. I was reading body language, and the body language, okay, so it was a spectacle. I mean, the walk-ins were like they had a train. I mean, it was, the first thing I noticed is that the hosts, the people talking, were terrible. They were not saying anything except over and over again they kept mentioning Mike Tyson's older than Jake Paul. When you watch an MMA fight and it's Rogan and one of the other guys, if you listen, they are explaining everything in micro detail. Joe Rogan will say, look at his left arm. Look at his left arm right now. If he moves it 2 inches to the left, he's good. And whoop, you'll see him do it. And you're like, oh my gosh, because he's a fighter. He knows when he's watching, he's thinking of what he would do. And the detail is micro. When they're on the ground and their legs are wrapped around, if you watch, they're trying to hook their legs into certain body parts. The announcers are saying it. They're saying, like, look at the details. And so as you're watching it, you're learning about the techniques. The Tyson fight, nothing. It was an empty shell. It was, so the cool part that it was free, if you had Netflix, it was free. You didn't have to pay any crazy pay-per-view prices. I grew up watching Tyson fights. I know that he is deadly with a punch. He's got a special thing about him. He's like this ball of energy, and his punches are obscenely powerful. He's got like a crazy like hook that's like frightening. So the girls came out. They had a great fight. It was the bloodiest lady fight I have ever seen. There was so much blood you couldn't even see. So that fight was good. I do like boxing. It didn't help boxing at all if that was angle of fight. Yeah, right, it does. It's not good. So the girls, okay, so it is rigged. But MMA, I don't know about the MMA being rigged. And I'll explain that in a second. So the girls came out, and they were really good. People were not happy with the results. The Irish girl won. What's her name? Katie Taylor. She punched Ramos and split her eye open right here. And that was the cause of the blood. And a lot of people thought that even though she was bloody, she actually won the fight. I don't know. I was just like, wow. Finally, Tyson comes out. Paul comes out. 2-minute rounds are a joke. It starts. As soon as it starts, it's over. You're like, wow. And then they weren't hitting hard. You could clearly see when Tyson came in the ring, he looked like he was embarrassed at the size of the spectacle and what the show was going to actually be. That's what it looked like to me. His behavior was, they're going to freaking hate this. Like, you could tell he knew it wasn't going to go well as an event. He made his money, but you could just see it in his eyes. He didn't look excited to be there. If that was like him trying to really win and put on a real spectacle, he would have come out and showboated. Just not even showboated. Just, he wasn't even holding his chin up. He was very like kind of mopey and like downplaying it. And I don't think, it just seemed like he realized that he's like, everybody when this is over is going to know that it wasn't real. It's going to be a letdown. And that's the feeling I got. And he was right. It was a letdown. The fight was boring. It was over. As soon as it started, it was over. And you could see Paul pulling punches. He really wasn't wailing on him. There were moments where they were just staring at each other. Oh, here we go. C.R. Mealy. Yes, pathetic for both of them. It was. They should have. Okay, that match would have been fine if there was another headliner, a real one, a good one. That could have been an exhibition match and early in on a big card. You know, that's what it looked like. Now, let's go to Saturday. Saturday was John Jones and versus Miocic. And the opening match was Oliveira and Chandler. Now, my son is a fan of this stuff, and he knows way about it and follows it way closer than I do. I remember MMA when it started with UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Royce Gracie and Don Fry and all those guys. Everybody wanted to see Tyson knock him out. If Tyson knocked him out in the first round, people would have been like, wow, that was great. But it didn't happen. It reminded me of the Joker movie. Everything you want to have happen didn't happen. And they know it. They know it. That's the crazy part. It wasn't like a gamble they took. They knew it. Yes, of course, the two drunk guys fighting in a bar is way better. Well, who won the Tyson fight? Tyson lost. Through decision. Yeah, he lost. Now, John Jones. So let's go just Oliveira Chandler. The fight on the MMA fight. First of all, the commentary with it's at the Garden. I mean, dude, the one of the spectacles at the Garden is Trump is an MMA fan. So now every time there's an MMA event, he comes in with his friends to watch. So the people there that like him, they're getting that. You know, they're like, wow, there's the president guy's here with his posse. You got Rogan, right? Rogan is an excellent MMA announcer. He really is. He is really good. He's got a relaxed vibe about it, but then when he goes nuts, and he's very knowledgeable. And then the fights. So Oliveira Chandler had one of the greatest endings I've ever seen. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. At the end, I was just like, I can't believe that's how this is ending. It was amazing. And then the John Jones fight. Again, it was a really good fight. And then the end, they have moves that they whip out that if they work, they're deadly. If they don't work, they're in trouble. And I don't want to spoil it, but it made a mockery of the other event. It was a sold out Madison Square Garden UFC extravaganza. More of that. That was wonderful. I think Rogan's a very good podcaster. When you do a 3 to 4 hour long podcast, you get people to start talking about normal things. And that's why you get a good interview. When you're getting your guests to smoke pot and drink and kind of chill, you get a different interview. There's a reason why his show is the most popular show in the world. And he does everybody, left, right, up, and down. If you watch that show since the beginning, I remember when everybody was like, he's a right-winger. I was like, what? No. He was a Bernie guy for years. But yeah, I do think he, as a podcaster, is pretty powerful and good, and his subject matter's all over the place. And he comes at it from an audience point of view. Instead of being the know-it-all, he's like, I don't know, I'm asking you. You know, he asks some questions that I think are that style, you know, because he's kind of like the learned pothead type. So yeah, UFC, highly successful. As a sport, it's very entertaining and good. It's very athletic, and I believe it's safer than boxing. Yes, it's more violent and bloody, but it's safer because boxing's repetitive thumping. In the same spot. It's all here and here. MMA, you don't know what you're getting. And they don't wear big padded gloves. So the hits are sharper and quicker. It's a different sport. There's wrestling, there's boxing, and then there's surprises. And I mean crazy backflip, rolls, jump off cage surprises. And some of these guys are actually good at it. You know, I was taught never kick anybody where you have to swing your leg high because you're vulnerable, right? That's for people that don't know what they're doing. Some of these guys are so fast with these spin kicks that it's just like, I disagree, Ruth. I do not think he's a right winger. You put him there because of your vision of the situation. I would say that's why he seems right wing. I don't know about the right wrong thing. I have to look. Yeah. Right, exactly. The luchadors are good for acrobatic stuff and entertainment and how serious they take it. They take it as a religious movement, the luchadors, which I appreciate. They probably in the world are the best as a group. I would say they might win, the Mexican guys. But yeah, one of the things I do like about Rogan is, as a free speech absolutist, he's pretty close to my tastes on free speech, which is something I was going to bring this into. If you asked me to write a law for free speech, like, let's say I'm president day one, I believe luchador is just the name for Mexican wrestling faction. And lucha libre is the luchadors are the wrestlers themselves. And you know them because they wear the masks. They wear those crazy masks that stitch up in the back. Okay, well, yeah, of course you could find. Dude, if he's got hundreds of thousands of hours of talking subjects, I'm sure some of them aren't good. And, I mean, accurate. Of course not. But again, I don't care. I don't care if he lies, quite personally. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Whether MMA or boxing. So here's how I think about free speech. And this ties into Rogan. If you were asking me to write the law right now, here's what it would say. There needs to be a provision that the feds aren't allowed to step in and bribe people. They're not allowed to pay money to get channels to change what they say. Secretly. Okay? That's one. Two, and this is the big one. And this is the one Mr. Trump tried to do his first time, and he tried to do this early before everybody hated him. But it was still kind of bipartisan. And here's what it is. And tell me if you don't agree to this. I'm very curious of what your thoughts are, of why this is bad. If you're online, okay, let's say I have a website where I'm going to run videos. If you're online and you're going to do it, if you're going to post something in the internet, you just have to pick publisher or platform. Pick. Both are different. But that's true, Ruth. But then you're letting other people. It gets so messy quick on that, though. That's the problem. It's now, I know what's best for you. It's tricky. It starts to get very messy. It's the can of worms, which is what I'm about to get into. If you're a publisher, well, you're the boss. And you can say what you want. You can be like, I only want Hindus on my page posting stuff. It's a Hindu page. It's got to be Hinduism. If you bring in Christianity, I'm going to kick you off. Sorry, I'm the publisher. It's a Hindu page, right? If you're a publisher and one of the persons on your thing posts something, you can go in and kick them off if it doesn't suit your style. Now, if somebody wants to sue, you're liable. Okay. Now, so, I mean, of course you're going to find people finding him missaying things. Of course. I mean, you can do that with any TV show. That's just like, that's like finding a needle. I mean, you can find them. If you're a platform, which YouTube here claims to be, where anybody can post, well, anybody can post. And if the KKK want to have a YouTube channel, they get one. Now, here's the difference. YouTube can't get sued. The KKK can get sued. If they slander or say something bad or they threaten somebody, well, they're responsible. The feds don't knock on YouTube's door. YouTube goes, hey man, I'm doing free speech here. And they didn't say anything violent. So we didn't kick them off. You know, they weren't like going, I'm going to come shoot you with a gun. Okay, great. So to me, that's the publisher platform system. Now we have neither. They just make it up as they go along and won't. They'll say they're a platform, but then they'll be a publisher. They'll go in and if we don't like it, we'll kick it out. If it doesn't suit our standards, if the advertisers don't like it, whatever it may be. But we don't even know what they're using. It's a mystery. This is China's speech laws. It's the same thing. The internet speech laws and the Chinese version are the same. They don't write anything down. They make it up as they go along, depending on the day and who's paying. And sometimes the feds pay. So I think Elon buying Twitter and showing those emails, if they're real emails, which I have never heard them debunked, it shows how the feds dangled cash in front of YouTube or in front of Twitter. Twitter went, oh, they're going to pay us? So this is what it looked like to me. Hey, YouTube, or hey, Twitter, you have things on there we don't like. So the reply back was, yeah, sorry, great. We have things you don't like, go away. Hey, can you take them off? It's misinformation. No, when are we going to do that? That's like a long and time consuming. And then finally the feds go, yeah, I know. How much? How much will that cost? And then Twitter goes, well, we can't do. Hold on, I'll get back to you. They go, have a meeting. They go back to the Fed guy and they start giving them numbers. They did it to everybody and everybody took the money. So, if people are into that, I don't know what to say. But I will say this. Next year, the new people stepping into the system here, the Republicans, he just said on day one, everything I just said he's going to do. So like him or hate him on those free speech laws, to me, those are the gold of gold. I can't. All right, well, whatever. I think most vaccine info from the science end is not good either. So, I mean, I don't know. I've seen many things on both ends on that one. So, I do know that we are going to have soon free speech laws that apply to the internet, and it's going to be way better. It's going to be better than it's going to be better than how it is now. So YouTube, get ready. I hope it affects YouTube. Really, I hope it does, because it's not good. It's terrible. You know? And if you ask me to write the law, that's what it would be, and that's what I heard they're going to do. It's literally what I just said. The first thing they're going to do is make a law that says the feds can't start nitpicking private websites and dangling money in their face. And second, if you're a website, you have to pick publisher or platform. So if YouTube picks publisher, they will have to tell me what they don't like, what their bycodes are and laws in detail. If they're a platform, then I can say whatever I want. I can say hateful things to people. I can say, I hate you. I don't like you. Now they can't get sued. You see the difference? I'd much rather that. Oh, see, this is interesting. Yes. So the international people are trying to get us to change our laws all the time on free speech and guns. Constantly. They want us to modernize to their version. And I say this to that. Here's my twin towers for that. No way. Are you out of your mind? Hate speech is where all the good stuff eventually comes from. It's blasphemy. Blasphemy, hate speech is where all the good stuff comes from. All the things that people don't like and are able to say it is where it comes from. Hate just means extreme dislike. It's because they've given it this extra layer of something now. Oh, it's hate speech. It's like a new they made it a thing. It's just speech. So yes, I can see that. No, but I think you're onto something, Fallon, where our version of free speech here, this will only, dude, look at England. Look what's going on in England right now. If you see something mean, like if you misgender somebody in England, you can go to jail now. I mean, they'll come arrest you for certain types of things. They really will. If you criticize religious movements like Islam and stuff, you can get in big trouble now. Well, the guy that did the Hitler dog, that guy got arrested. So I'm over it. That to me, they're done. If that's the direction they're going, everything's over there. Europe's done. Their free speech laws are terrible. I think free speech is everything. All of it. Hate, lies, misinfo, disinfo. All of it. It's got to be there. As soon as you start to regulate it, it's all over. You tweet stuff and get jailed, and you do terrible stuff with children, you get probation. New York Times versus Sullivan decision. Refresh me on that one. Which one was that one? Give me the detail on that one. I might have to look that one up. But I am a free speech absolutist. I think it really does. A violent, direct threat, and I mean direct, not indirect, direct, to me is like if somebody says, I'm coming to kill you, like those kind of I'm going to kill you kind of words. I don't, as a person, if you say that, in my opinion, the law should be you just lost your rights right there. And the other person can do what they need to do to stop you. However they think. They don't have to be a psychic to figure out if you're lying or not. This is why I don't like a lot of gun laws. A lot of our gun laws are based on the gun owner being a psychic and having to figure out the motive of the guy robbing him at home. Oh, he's not really going to hurt me. He's just going to steal my watch. That's what they are wanting you to do with the gun law. You can't just whip the gun out and shoot the guy. You have to make sure he's really trying to hurt you. And to me, that's not true. It shouldn't be. If someone's in your property and you don't want them there, I'm sorry. You should be able to do whatever you want. You shouldn't have to be a psychic. And I think that was stolen property too. I'm a fan of the horse law. If you steal my magic props, I can't go to work. If I can't go to work, I can't pay my bills. Freedom means we have to ask first. The election. Public figures need to prove malice in defamation cases. Meaning if you're trying to, I see. I'd have to see the. So who did it favor? Who did it finally favor? Like what was the result of that? Let me think about that. I prove malice in a defamation. So meaning if somebody defames somebody by accident, it's okay. But if they're actually trying to take the person down, like let's say Jimmy's ice cream parlor, I don't like Jimmy the ice cream parlor owner, okay? And I start telling people he's a ped, okay? I start spreading that rumor, which is a heinous thing to do. Well, yeah, I'm trying to ruin his business by a rumor. Yeah, he can sue me for slander. I guess they'd have to prove that. But here's the thing. If I can show that I really had evidence of that, someone told me that, then I'm out. It's like the Alex Jones case. I'm actually completely 100% against the decision to fine Alex Jones. To me, that's 100% a free speech case, and they would never even let him mention that in the trial, which to me is right there your answer of why that trial was crooked. If you can't even bring it up, bleh. Well, yeah, I don't. So, okay, obviously, okay, okay, so, all right, so listen, this is fascinating. So let's say I really do believe that the guy at the ice cream parlor is a problem. And I tell somebody, there it is, yeah, I get it. You have to prove that, you know, like, is it possible for that to be true? Well, if I have evidence of such, or someone told me, or Maybe there was a newspaper article. I see. It's a detail I have to think about. Let me stew upon that. Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, what if you spread the truth and it causes someone to lose business? So now you're getting into what's true and what's not. And then it's something could be true, but somebody sees it a different way because of how it was told. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, yeah, I mean, that's true. But that definitely can happen. I have thought things about people because of some evidence that I saw, and then I realized that I was seeing it wrong. You know, like I've had that happen. I see. In a normal defamation case, you don't have to prove the malice. I see. It seems like that would be a component that has to be introduced. Because that to me was, if somebody, like for instance, Mr. Jones, if he truly believed something to be a conspiracy, like, hey, they're hiding something here, and then, but he's allowed to believe that. And to me, even in that situation, yeah, again, it's free speech. Of course, it's assumed that's why it defames. Okay, let me think about that. Right. Wow, that's interesting. If I had another lifetime, I would go to law school on this. It's fun. It's kind of a puzzle. It's like a logic puzzle and then some. The burden of proof. Evidence also works as a component. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these court cases are belief comes into play. Like, well, what does the person believe to be true? It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's like if they believe it to be true and they say it's true and then they're getting in trouble for that, well, they thought it was true. This is why free speech is free speech. Because it's tied to a belief. A thought is a belief, an idea, right? They're all tied together. Interesting. Wow, Ruth says, I worked with Larry Flint's attorneys on the Falwell case. What was the Falwell case? I don't even know what that is. The Larry Flint case I'm very familiar with. That's the owner of Hustler magazine was sued for obscenity. Now, you know there has been an obscenity case that went to trial and they won and beat the guy. It's the only artist ever arrested for art. His name is Mike Diana, and I should interview him for the show because I know the guy. I'm writing that down. I really want to interview him. Mike Diana. All right, let's quickly talk about UFOs. They were on TV again, having a hearing. Lou Alessandro. David Grush was the last guy. Let me tell you something. You have to go online and look this up. There's not many people talking about this. I hear more people saying that the UFOs are real. They're real. So many people now. I'm telling you, it's a psyop. It's not real. Listen closely to... He really is the nicest guy. Yeah, I agree. He really is a sweet guy. When they talk about the UFO stuff, listen closely to the people that know what they're quote know what they're talking about. They use language like biometric. They have these new things they're throwing out that are ambiguous. And ATIP is this guy keeps saying is his program. There's a video by a guy from the New York Post. He's the only man I have seen debunk all of this in micro detail. And I'll give you an example. I'm telling you, it's so far-fetched. I'm going to prove it right now. You're never going to see it because it's not real. Whatever they're saying is real are drones. It's just technology we don't know. I'm going to prove to you right now how it's fake. In 2000 and... what year was it? It wasn't that long ago. 2016? What's her name? Leslie Kean wrote an article, front page New York Times, admitting that it's the New York Times admitting UFOs are real. And when that came out, slowly people started talking about it. The news started doing stories. Everybody started doing stories. They all said the same thing. They're quoting the New York Times article. In the New York Times article, it mentions ATIP and Lou Alessandro and all this UFO stuff and the government agency. Right. So I'm going to prove to you right now that it's fake. Yes, here you go. I'm gonna right now debunk all of it. First of all, Area 51 was started by a Vegas weatherman, okay? If you look at the history of Area 51, it all kind of starts with him. Let's fast forward now to this program. Does anybody know what the Skinwalker Ranch is? It was a reality show. Yes, it's far-fetched. So, this government program was not called ATIP. It's called OSAP. And there's a reason there was a name change. And this is the part no one talks about. It's a scam. It's not real. I can't believe that this is out there and no one's detailing it. None of the journalists are doing what they're supposed to do. They're still so in awe of this UAP, UFO thing, that they're... George Knapp, exactly. And so it's very carnival when you start to peel it apart. So, yes, the most important speech is the speech we hate, the people we don't like. Yeah, that's true. So here it is. The lady that wrote that essay is a UFO person, okay? Somehow she wrote this article for the New York Times, and there's an interview. The guy that wrote the New York Post, he actually asked her, when you wrote the article on UFOs, which is about the Skinwalker Ranch, why didn't you mention ghosts, dinosaur beavers, interdimensional creatures, and werewolves? Because that group is studying that too. And her answer was, well, I wanted to bring an air of legitimacy to the UFOs, and that's why I left it out. This is the New York Times. This is the front page. This is why I don't read the New York Times. It's not news. That's called activism. She's a UFO activist. Now, they have political activists too. You know, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what subject you pick. These newspapers aren't real anymore, and they haven't been. So the UFO story, right, it gets in there. All the whistleblowers, they're all approved. David Grush, the FBI guy. Now, listen to this. Listen to Lou Alessandro's answer and listen to the question the Congress lady asks him, as if someone told her to use this terminology. Listen to this, and you tell me this sounds normal.
Highly maneuverable aircraft, manned aircraft, made by General Dynamics, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start having structural failure, meaning that the airframe begins to disintegrate while you're flying. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
So are you, I guess, would it be safe to infer that they're living craft?
You know, I'm not prepared at this point to state for the record is something alive or not, because even that definition is hard. There was a time in science we thought that life required oxygen, and we now know that's not true. There are anaerobic bacteria that thrive in oxygen environments that lack oxygen. And so also same with photosynthesis. When I was in college, I was told everything is derived from photosynthesis as a form of energy. In reality, that's not true. There are things that live off of chemosynthesis. So we're constantly having to reevaluate our understanding of what the definition of life is.
Did you hear that question she asked? Is it sounds like someone told her to answer that, and everything's gray. everything they answer is, if you just put the word drone in there, it could be a fast drone. A fast drone, we don't know how it goes that fast. That's the technology part. But nothing implies outer space. It's all nonsense. Show me a video. Why haven't they shown a video? All the videos they show, I've seen debunked. There's nothing special in them. Nothing. There's a blob moving sideways, and you hear them going, oh, it's breaking the laws of gravity. That's all been debunked. I've yet to see a video that they've presented where I'm like, wow, that's weird. What? Nothing. David Grush, no evidence. He never saw anything. He heard about it. These are feds. These are propaganda. This is bread and circus. Okay? So, the government gave Harry Reid and his money to give to his friends. $22 million. They pulled the plug in 1 year. They were like, there's nothing there. It's crap. That Skinwalker Ranch, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. The New York Post guy goes there, and he's like, this is ridiculous, right? So, ooh, I love that. You guys got to read the chat. This show's amazing. So here you go. They got rid of the program. When Lou Alessandro, who worked for OSAP, he wasn't the director. He was just brought in as a consultant, I think. When he got fired, or when he was going to resign, he wasn't fired, he was going to resign. He wrote a letter of resignation. And then they showed the letter, and in the letter it showed like that he worked for all these UFO things. But it turns out there were 2 letters. And the letter that we see is the second letter that he sent that's a copy of the first with more stuff in it. And in that he says, he changes the name of the program. The guy that invented OSAP, the main guy, the government program, the boss, his name's James Lykatzik. He said that other guy has nothing to do with it. He's like, I don't know what, this is something different. That's like a hobby he has on the weekends where he looks up UFOs. There's nothing there. It's an empty shell. And that's the guy that's doing all these hearings. Go look up New York Post UFO. He's the only guy doing anything on this subject. Kind of going like, guys, it's full-on psyops. Full-on psyop. I really think so. They have a technology that's new. It's finally getting now where they can like fly them around and freak out the Navy. If I had to guess and put money on it, I would say it's a private group working with a government agency. That's what it seems like. And it's a drone. It's unmanned. It uses a new propulsion. That's it. Ooh, what's protected speech and friendly? What's this? Ooh. Well, free speech. So, if you're going to have free speech, what do you teach people? You teach them speech. You teach them how to use speech. You teach them how to defend with speech. You teach them how to attack with speech. Okay? You teach them how to have fun with speech. You also teach people how not to be reactive and to be responsive and use speech as the response. So you can't have free speech laws unless you're teaching these things. It doesn't work. 2, same with guns. If you're going to let people run around with guns, well, the 2 things you got to teach, and I'm not going to say learn how to shoot a gun. I'm not going to say that, actually. I know you were thinking that. That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you're going to teach people about guns, you have to teach them why. That's the first one. And 2, you have to teach them to get used to what it's like to live around a society where people will shoot you in the face. It's different. It's very different than Europe and how people interact with each other. And a lot of people hate it. But that's how it is. So, I don't know. I grew up around people with guns. And I grew up with some wild people with guns. I had friends that would open the door like this. They'd open the door with a gun pointed at you. And then they go, hi. I mean, I was around a lot of that. And so it's a different culture, quite frankly. It's not okay to force others not to like it either. Yeah. Yep. And here's the other thing. If you live in a world where things get popular and there's certain groups that there's more of than others, well, you got to get used to that. If you're the minority, and believe me, I've been the minority, and people go, oh, you don't know what it's like to be a minority. Believe me, I could go into a myriad of stories where I've been death threatened multiple times because of certain things about my life that are minority, like certain, just the way I am, the way my brain works. You know, the way my brain works is illegal in many countries. Yeah. And I've actually been threatened. So, but I have to know that I am the minority in certain things. Like my godlessness is the minority. And I don't throw it around. And I don't expect anybody to understand my godlessness or my goodlessness. I expect them to not like it. So I know when to keep it on the DL. If I think someone can handle it or open-minded, then I might talk about it a bit. But mostly, I get their version. I understand where they're coming from. I'm not like that, but that's okay. See, so it took my understanding for that to work. Ooh, what is this? Well, or if you don't want to be offended, never leave your house or turn on your TV, or force everybody to obey the rules and keep making rules. And tell people that your identity is based on how other people see you and will always be. That's what they're telling kids over and over and over again. Like, and that's crazy. I mean, really, I mean, I've heard it. They literally say those words. It's like, what? That's the exact opposite of what I taught my kids. The exact flip. I told my kids, if somebody calls you an ethnic slur, because my kids look Asian, and you're upset, it's your fault. You're the dummy. If it upsets you, they won. That's it. Well, you're allowed to be closet. That's fine. Wait, what's this? What's going on here? What are you disagreeing and agreeing? There's agreements and disagreements. Let's see. It's not about being offended. It's about objectively causing emotional distress. But I'm allowed to cause emotional distress in people. It's legal. Kinda. I mean, art causes emotional distress. Certain arts do, you know? Right? Your anonymity to your philosophy will yield you great, great power. It's a benefit. Seriously, you don't need to. A lot of people think it's a need to like express that. That philosophy never need to be known for it to make to work. That's how that is. That's how you know it's sound. It's interesting. A lot of deep thoughts tonight. That's right. That's what I say. Everything can cause emotional distress. A banana can cause emotional distress. Yes. Yeah, living in a society where everybody's well-being is dictated by everybody else's moods that day. I mean, it's a weird, good Lord. See, there you go. Some people, I call myself moderately open. I'm a mod, meaning I don't hide it, but it's all over the place, but I don't say it. And I find power in that version of it. To me, it's way more effective. It's on a need-to-know basis. And most people don't need to know, so. It's in my work. All over it. I agree, yeah. Now, again, it can work in your favor through advertising. There is a power to that, but there's also problems with it. I should do a show on that one day. I mean, I've had my life threatened multiple times. I've had to deal with the Mongols. Have I ever told that story? I don't think I've ever told that story on this show. I'll tell the story and then I'm going to end the show. So if you've stayed this whole time, you're in for a treat. So this is an excellent story. To controlling your narrative. Yes, well, that's the thing. If you state something publicly about your belief or philosophy, you can't control how someone's going to interpret that, right? They'll have an immediate, it's got to be this, whether it be a religious thing, a political thing, right? So I'd rather those things not be there and for them to look at my daily life to see if they can find those GPS buttons they're looking for. You know, when you're talking to somebody, especially these days, they're like, who did he vote for? Where did he vote? Is he left or right? Is he left or right? I gotta know. Like, they don't want to even talk to you unless they know whose team you're on. And then if you say certain things, like if I would say libtard, then it's like, oh, he's on the right. And if I would say, what's a good, like, left one that's, like, clearly, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one. But yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying. People hear things and immediately know whose team you're on or put you on a team. That's why, in my business, it's better to be... Yes, exactly. That's why, for me, gray is better, more powerful, because there's a mystery. As soon as there's a mystery involved, there's I call them like it's a wonder pause. It's like they know there's something going on below the surface. Those kind of moments to me are powerful. So here's the story. And this is true. I have to make sure I don't have to change any names in here. So I was at a friend's venue. I believe it was in the late winter, early spring. And it was an off night. I remember walking into the venue. My friend owns it. And I walk in, and I remember the first thing I noticed is there wasn't many people in the bar. And there was like 5 people at the bar, 4 or 5 people at a couple tables here, and maybe 3 people in the back or 4 people in the back. It was like a kind of a slow, quiet night. And so, yeah, right, Ruth, that's true. Yeah, you keep it on the D. Yeah, you're like the same. So, so I walk in and I see my friends and I look, and the owner and my friend is at the bar, and I turn and I'm like, oh, hey. So I go over and I just start talking to my friends, and I hear behind me, hey, come here. You, come here. Something like that. And I turn, and the dudes that were at the table right near the bar were biker guys. And there were 3, and they might have had a 4th person with them, but I don't remember those guys. I remember the 3. And they were there, and as soon as I turned, I knew what the problem was. And I was wearing my bomber jacket that's got patches on the back with a giant Baphomet goat, and it says Reverend, and it's got some of my creds on it, and it was one of our Reverend, gosh, I'm really bad with names. Hold on. It's coming to me. Florida, Reverend. I'm so bad with names. It'll come to me. Not my, Howell, Andy Howell. Reverend Howell. He was making for all the Reverend types a nice patch set. And I knew right away that this guy here didn't like that I was wearing patches. Um, yeah, there we go. Thank you, Ruth. So here we go. I know exactly how to handle this. And I look, and these dudes aren't angels. The angels I work with all the time. I know them. They actually hire me for tattoo conventions, and I'm friends with a few of them. And they're straight up dudes, okay? I get along with them, and they've thrown me a lot of work over the years, tattoo conventions and whatnot, and I respect them, and they're cool. So I look, and these guys are Mongols who don't get along with the angels. There aren't a lot of Mongols in the city. There aren't. I never see them. And I noticed two of the guys don't have patches. They're not all the way patched, which means they're prospects. They're out having to prove themselves. And the main guy is the guy teaching the prospects how to deal with this. And he looks at me. He goes, "Come here." So I walk right over to the guy, and he's like, "Yo, those are our colors. What are you doing wearing those patches?" Really, he was ready to kill me right there. And so I had to look him in the eye and give him the eye of death and be like, "Bro, these are real. Okay? This is real." And he was like, and I was like, "It's the real thing." And he went, "Oh, hey, what's up, bro? What's up?" And like that, it was over. Like I could see him doing the calculating. Okay. So then he called me. He goes, "Yeah, let's go outside." So I go outside with the guy, and he's smoking. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm down with that stuff. I found God, just so you know. But I'm down with that stuff." And so it was really fun. In jail, he found God, he told me. So I don't know who this guy was. And I'm just like, wow, this is wild. And I just dodged a big bullet. Those dudes don't like looking at people wearing unearned patches. If they see you wearing anything that's unearned, biker style, they'll beat you. Okay, so wait, it gets better. So I go back in the bar. They go back to their thing. And I'm like saying to my friends there, "What are these guys doing here? They're looking for trouble." So I go home and go to bed. I literally go home, and I'm home here. The next day, they went to another bar, and they hit somebody I know with a metal pipe in the head. And then they ran off, and my buddy had to go to the hospital. True story. So they really were out causing trouble to get these guys broken in. They were out cracking necks. They were going to crack my neck, but I had to look them straight. So I always tell people, if you're going to front it publicly, get ready. You will one day get confronted where you might have to fight for your actual very life. And I have had that happen many times. Not in that exact situation, but get ready. You're asking for it. So I'm just saying, if you're going to fly colors, you have to learn how to deal with flying colors. And it's not for everybody. Stolen valor is correct. Some people will attack you for it because they feel it diminishes their valor. So, wow. I hope that story was interesting. Everyone always finds God in jail. Listen, I once saw a video where I thought, wow, that was me. I might have found God in jail. I mean, when they do sensory deprivation for long periods of time and you have nothing but a Bible and that's all you can read to not go bonkers and kill yourself, yeah, that's what happens. It's kind of wild. No one has the right to make anyone feel any. Yeah, well, yeah. You only let someone make you feel guilty if you recognize they are right. Wait, what is that? Ooh. You only let someone make you feel guilty. First of all, I don't let anybody make me feel guilty. If you recognize they are right. So meaning you do feel guilty. Huh. Wait, what? I don't know. I don't understand. Wow, I love these discussions. Sometimes it's hard to discuss in a chat too. It's kind of, the back and forth's a little trickier because if you have a bunch of things to say, it's hard. But change your beliefs. I think I think right now the back and forth is, it's two different things being discussed. It's not the same thing. So, guilt, I don't know. I don't let anybody let me feel guilty. First of all, guilt, what does that mean? Just like the word offend, like I'm offended. I don't understand what offended means. Guilt is another one. I don't know. Like if I feel guilt, let me think what that actually is. Let's say I did something and then I realized I shouldn't have done it. Like, that was bad. Like I took a move and it was bad. I should have asked first, or whatever it was. I don't call that guilt. Yeah. I don't call that guilt. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel, I guess I feel ashamed. I basically, when I feel that, it's me letting myself down. It's like I have created some standards that I like to stick to. And if I don't, and I'm upset over that, like, you didn't do what you said. I canceled my promise to myself, which means guilt and this shame is a dialogue between my conscious and my subconscious. I got to write that down. If you can have a dialogue with conscious and subconscious. Okay, that's interesting. That's a whole episode. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I think you live and learn, but I think that's different from what people label guilt. Yeah. That's why I don't like those words, guilt. It like implies this other layer of something, like good. Like there's a standard, a universal standard. And I don't like that. I just learn what works for me and what doesn't work for me. You know? For some people, stealing is in that equation. And they steal and they suffer the consequences or whatever. I don't do that, but I have other things that I might do that there are consequences to. So, right, I think, yeah. Wait. Oh, this is interesting. Charlemagne is trying to manipulate the conversation from its parody protected speech. Okay. But what's that? What does that mean? Like, parody is part of protected free speech. You can make fun of things, right? Melissa says she doesn't feel guilty. And I said good. Charlemagne. Oh, okay. I get it now. I mean, yeah, parody's protected speech. Art, that's comedy. You can make fun of things. Huh. Wow, I'll never get bored with free speech discussions. To me, it's fascinating because restricted speech is restricted thought. It's thought policing. It really is. And I think about it quite a bit. And I think about the details. And I really want people to think about the fact that there are no more facts. It's over. We are in an information age now where facts and numbers are going to get very subjective and loose and wild. And so it's going to be very hard to manage. I wish you luck. The jungle has returned. Welcome to the jungle. I always thought that people that like forms of government that are a little more helpful don't like the jungle. They hate it, actually. Like, here's what I imagine. To me, this is like, in a nutshell, politics. Saying people should be able to make you feel guilty for disagreeing with them. Well, I would agree with him that if they can make you feel guilty, then they just were able to work magic on you. So that's what they just did. They were able to use an invisible means to make you feel bad. Well, good on them. That means they have a special power. Wait, what was I just saying? And that took my eye away? That's interesting. Ooh. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. All right, so I understand his point. Yeah, he's saying that Someone can only make you feel guilty if you actually believe it. Yeah, okay. Right. That's true. Yeah, you can try to guilt somebody, and if they don't think that's real, then they're not going to get guilty. Now, that person can make you feel guilty. There's techniques to that. So here, oh yeah, I remember now. So here's how people pick politics and religion. To me, the jungle, when I say the jungle, I mean the Wild West, the Mad Max world, free for all, okay? No government, just roving bandits. That's the jungle. Might is right. Clever wins and might wins, right? Take what you can beyond good and evil. Okay. There are people that see that world, and to me, world is the default setting to everything. And if you go right now to the plains or the jungles or the islands, and you go in the jungles or the forests and the animal world, that's the jungle. Might is right. Things are as they are. There's no evil. When the tiger decimates the fawn, it's not evil. When the tiger kills other tiger cubs or other lion cubs or whatever, it's not evil. Okay. That's the default to everything. And so there are the people that when they see that, they go, hell no, that's awful. And so this is where human tribes came from. This is the collective. It's a little easier to make a little group to get through that crazy jungle. If there's 5 of us with sticks, we're going to do better than one guy walking through. Okay. Then you have the types that see the wild jungle and go, huh, yeah, that's kind of wild. I think I can handle this. Let's give it a shot. Right? And so, to me, modern capitalism is the jungle with some rules added so that it's not so brutal, but it's still brutal. And that's kind of how I always saw politics. It's like one side leans to the we need to collectivize, and the other side leaves room for the wild eye to go give it a shot. And to me, that version is where crazy good things come out of. It's also dangerous, but that's where the new crazy good ideas come from because of the amount of resistance inside of that system. See, you're all talking the same language now. Yeah, I do too. I mean, I don't like talking about religion or politics anymore. I like talking about values and the real values, like beyond religion and politics. Like, do you value being anonymous? Do you value being judged as an immoral person or a moral person? Because I noticed during the pandemic and during political arguments, a lot of people now are like, you have bad morals. It's all moral judgments, a lot of it. And not cognitive, but it's more moral. That's what I've noticed. And that's what I'm interested in. Wow. Whew, what an episode. I'm going to go eat and smoke more and think. I thank you all. My name's Cardone. This is, please hit the like, hit the subscribe. I can't believe some of you have been here the whole time. Thank you very much. Our show's live. If you go in and look at the chat, this is great. I haven't been to church 12 years. I mean, I'm there for a wedding and a funeral occasionally. I'm not a church guy. I do go a lot of Jewish temples because of my work. I'm in a Jewish temple all the time. Synagogue. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. Party on. I know. I love back and forths. I love it when people are in there back and forth. It's great. This is a good show. We all get along here. We have people from different points of view here, and we're able to talk. Again, it's because we're talking core value. Free speech, body autonomy, things like that. Let's go straight to the core. When I hear people going, my body, my choice, I'm like, yeah, me too. There's a lot of those in there. You know? The draft. Suicide. I have a new word. Suicide. Suicide. Self-protection. Circumcision. These are all body autonomy cases, right? They're all different, but they're all body autonomy. So yeah, I love it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Charlemagne, Ruth, Ashworth, party on. So somebody asked me about the milk can. That's a whole episode. I'm going to do it. I'll explain how I got interested and my take on it. And how it made me a claustrophobic freak. Because it did. It didn't help me get better. It made it worse. And yeah, that's an episode. Thank you, Shemham Forash homie. Yeah, let's have a great week, everybody. It's getting close to the Christmas season, which everybody gets busy, and I'm gonna start getting busy. We have Thanksgiving next week. New York City on the 30th. We have Manowar. This is my favorite living rock and roll band, besides Coxbar. I would say Manowar. Manowar and Coxbar. Living rock band, meaning they're alive today. They're playing on the 30th. And so I'm very excited to go see them play. I haven't seen them live 12 years, 13 years. I don't know. It's been a while. Thank you, Ryan. Everybody, peace. Have a great weekend. Enjoy, read, stop watching television, and free speech or die. And I mean it. Free speech or die. Let's take the outro. Party on!
Oh, it was an absurd disaster. It was a debacle. They nominated us for a Grammy, and then they didn't even want us to come to the damn party. We showed up anyway, hung around until Michael Jackson was done, and then beat it before Billy Ray Cyrus hit the stage. I mean, I could go on and on. We were posing for some stupid photograph with Michael Green, the president of NARIS at the time, and the LA Times had asked me, they said, Odorous, what do you think about being nominated for a Grammy? And I replied, quite honestly, it means nothing to me. It is a meaningless accolade bestowed upon Guar by a retarded child. And apparently that didn't go over very well with the showbiz community, whom I live to destroy. Now let me tell you something. Those fucking celebrities giving each other awards is the last thing they need. Heaping gift bags with $50,000 watches inside of them, the privileged elites of your society, heaping prizes and praises and meaningless awards. What about an award for that girl who's working 60 hours a week so she can feed her 2 kids because her husband is overseas fighting your freaking war so you guys can have your gas-guzzling fucking... Sorry, I get a little worked up about that shit. And then Dave Grohl gets up there on the Grammys. He's like, hey, I'm Dave Grohl. Oh, God, please let me suck some more corporate cocks. I get some more cocks in my mouth. Quick, let's get some more cocks on stage for Dave Grohl to suck. He's not sucking enough. We think he can suck some more. Get Billy Joe from Green Day over here. Let him suck some cocks too. Like, okay, bring him in, guys, bring him in. Still, there wasn't enough cocks for Dave Grohl to suck. He actually, do you know that Dave Grohl had his teeth removed so he could fit more cocks in his mouth?